I call to order the fifth meeting on 2009 of the Economic and Social Council, the Secretary General, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, representatives. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to welcome you to this special meeting, high-level meeting of the Economic and Social Council with the Bretton Woods Institution, the World Trade Organization, and the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. I'd like particularly to bid welcome to the ministers, the executive directors, high-level representatives, and the other high officials of member states and organizations dealing with development and financial and commercial matters, and also participants belonging to civil society and the private sector. This meeting, high-level meeting, which the Economic and Social Council is holding, the representatives of the sectors, is taking place at a key time marked by turmoil. The spiraling human costs of which are becoming increasingly evident. And this is particularly true in the poor countries as well as the developing countries. The crisis has already seriously set back the efforts of the poorest countries and has increased the magnitude of the challenges they face. Millions of people may fall into poverty because of the crisis this year, and the number of those who do not have sufficient food may exceed billions. It's vital, therefore, that this approach human problem to the world economic crisis is to act in a coordinated and coherent way and to prevent it becoming a generalized human tragedy. But once this is overcome, we will still have to meet enormous challenges in terms of development, particularly to realize the objectives set down in the Millennium Declaration. Hence the importance of dealing with the intergovernmental process established to follow up effectively to the Monterrey Conference and Doha Conference, and to ensure the follow-up and respect for commitments which we've all undertaken in the Monterrey Consensus and the Doha Declaration on the Financing of Development. If the subject of our meeting is coherence, coordination, and cooperation in the implementation of the consensus of the Monterrey Declaration and Doha, we will examine closely the two following subjects, which I will present in more detail subsequently. That is to say, what to do in face of the repercussions of the economic and financial crisis of the world on development, including with regard to questions affecting the structure of the financial international monetary structures and the mechanisms of international governance, and strengthening of the intergovernmental process, an open process in order to follow up the question of the financing development. I hope that we will be very fruitful in our work, and we will take full advantage of the opportunity, the first which is we've been able to seize, to undertake a multi-party dialogue really open to all on questions which are of direct concern to each of us. I am convinced that we have an important contribution to make to the search for a concerted response, coherent and global response to the economic and financial crisis. I would remind you in this context that the account of our exchanges today will be transmitted to the President of the General Assembly with a view to preparing the draft final document of the International Conference on the impact of the financial crisis on development, which will be taking place at the beginning of June here in New York.